When Alex Pereira walked out of UFC 313 with the belt taken from his hands, many wondered if Poitin had finally met a wall he couldn't break through. But the Brazilian powerhouse isn't coming into UFC 320 as the same fighter. Back under the watchful eye of Glover Teixeira, Pereira has rebuilt his camp from the ground up, this time laser focused on stuffing takedowns, punishing clinches, and making sure Magomed Ankalaev can't slow the storm twice. With fans buzzing about a Poitin 2.0 and analysts split on whether his adjustments will be enough, the stage is set for one of the year's most compelling rematches. Let's break down his training. In a recent training clip, Pereira can be seen locking an opponent to the mat with a firm hold, slipping past attempted counters, and smoothly shifting his weight to secure an even stronger position. The sequence highlights his growing composure and technical awareness on the ground, showcasing the defensive grappling and positional control he's been drilling to prepare for Ankalaev's wrestling-heavy style. Another training clip shows Pereira working to evade and escape repeated grappling attempts. Though he appears to struggle at moments under the pressure, he still manages to slip free and reset, reflecting both the challenges of adapting to a wrestling-heavy game and the steady progress he's making in survival and escape drills. He seems to be focusing heavily on his grappling techniques to prepare him for the challenge.
Isso. Aí, ó, joelhada, pum. You don't want to strike with hand. Your feet, your strike. Isso tem que matar.
He has also been sharpening his ability to combine disciplines. Pereira works through a drill where he starts with crisp pad work before transitioning straight into defending a grappling attempt from a fresh partner. The exercise forces him to maintain striking sharpness while reacting to sudden takedown pressure, highlighting his camp's focus on blending striking and grappling defense into one fluid response.
Opa, aqui. Ei, pega. Dois. Dois sai, vai pro Durão. Isso. Dois sai, vai pro Durão. Vai. Vai, pega. Mano. Dois, sai. Toma retardo, vai. Aqui.
work remains a central piece of his training. In one session, Pereira unleashes fast combinations on the pads, mixing rapid hand strikes with powerful kicks. The intensity and variety in his output reflect the explosive stand-up arsenal that remains the cornerstone of his game, even as he sharpens his grappling defenses. In a similar drill, Pereira pushes through a faster, more demanding pad work session that also incorporates stomach kicks alongside his rapid hand strikes. The heightened pace and added variety test his conditioning and striking precision, showing the depth of his stand-up training in this camp. Amid the grind, Pereira has also shown lighter moments. In a lighthearted clip with Nina Drama, Pereira jokes that he's been training so hard he needs a girlfriend, giving fans a glimpse of his humor outside the grind. The playful moment contrasts with the intensity of his camp, underscoring just how much work he's been putting in ahead of the rematch while keeping the mood balanced.
Só treina, 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 trabalha, treina, trabalha, trabalha. Vai que arrumou uma namorada, né? Sim, ó. Ei.
Everyone, put your applications in. Okay, chat, put your applications in. Alex is looking for a woman. Or a girlfriend.
While Pereira's training clips reveal a fighter working tirelessly to round out his game, the real question is how much these adjustments will matter once the octagon door closes. Experts have weighed in, with some seeing genuine evolution in Poatan 2.0, while others believe Ankalaev's wrestling and control will still dictate the outcome. Michael Bisping sets the stage by reminding fans that Alex Pereira, the former two-division champion, heads into UFC 320 chasing redemption. Standing in his way is Magomed Ankalaev, who is unbeaten for 7 years and riding one of the longest streaks in light heavyweight history, second only to John Jones. The stakes couldn't be higher as the two prepare to run it back in Las Vegas.
One and only Alex Pereira, Poatan, the former middleweight and light heavyweight champion of the world, that just lost his belt last time out to Magomed Ankalaev. Of course, they were going to do a rematch. And this one goes down at UFC 320 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Magomed Ankalaev defends his belt against Alex Pereira. Ankalaev hasn't lost in 7 years. He has the second longest win streak in the UFC light heavyweight division behind who? John Jones.
Reflecting on their first fight, Bisping doesn't sugarcoat Pereira's struggles. He recalls a hesitant, low-output performance where Poatan was beaten at his own strength, which is striking. As Bisping explains, strikers often freeze against wrestlers, expecting a takedown that never comes, only to get outboxed instead. That's exactly what happened to Pereira, and it left him looking uncharacteristically tentative.
The GOAT. Let the hate begin.
And this fight card is shaping up to be ridiculous. Now, there's 2 big title fights on there and 3 fights were announced. We'll get to those in a minute. A lot of pressure on Alex Pereira coming into this one. And you know, after he lost the fight to Magomed Ankalaev last time out, there wasn't much volume. There wasn't much wrestling either. If anything, Magomed Ankalaev beat him on the feet. It was just a hesitant, tentative performance from Pereira, and I understand that. I've been in there with wrestlers myself, and you think that when you throw, they're going to shoot, and then the guy doesn't shoot, he starts throwing punches, he beats you at your own game, and he kind of makes a dick out of you, right? I've been there.
Bisping acknowledges that Ankalaev isn't on the grappling level of Khabib or Islam, but warns that he doesn't need to be. The Dagestani showed he can mix just enough wrestling with crisp striking to throw opponents off rhythm. For Pereira, that means there's no margin for passivity. He has to march forward, let his hands go, and reclaim control if he wants his belt back.
I know what it feels like, and yes, Magomed, even though he's from Dagestan, isn't a Khabib-level wrestler or Islam Makhachev or something like that, but he does have wrestling in his back pocket. He beat him at his own game. But Pereira is under a lot of pressure here. He's got to come out. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to go forward. If he's going to get that belt back and get some pride back, he's got to win this.
The former champ also points out the career crossroads looming over Pereira. Another loss, and his UFC future could be in jeopardy. He's already teased moves to karate combat and even boxing, and he certainly doesn't need the money. But a win would silence the doubts, reestablish him as one of the most dangerous men at 205, and maybe even line him up for a blockbuster fight with heavyweight star Tom Aspinall.
Because if he doesn't, this might be the last time we see him fight in the UFC. We saw him have a bit of a meltdown on Twitter recently when something didn't go his way. I forget the exact tweet, what it was, but you know what I'm talking about if you follow the sport. And now he's talking about potentially fighting for karate combat. He's talking about potentially boxing. He's made an absolute fortune. He's left his mark on the sport. But if he beats Magomed Ankalaev, then of course, forget about all those conversations. He's going to be staying in the UFC, and he'll probably fancy his chances against Tom Aspinall at some point down the line.
On the other hand, Chael Sonnen isn't betting on who wins. Instead, he's betting on what the UFC needs. If Pereira wins, Chael says the only honorable path is to run it back again. That means fans wouldn't just be signing up for this rematch. They'd have to care enough to watch it a third time, too.
With a loss, the answer for Pierre will be very clear. And it will be what he's wanted all along. He now joins the heavyweight division. And I don't think you would disagree with that. I think we would all, if we could hedge a bet somewhere, even proverbially, would proverbially, you know what I'm trying to say. Proverbially. Anyway, we all would understand where Pereira is going to move to heavyweight with a loss. I just want to ask you a question. And you like that idea, right? We love the idea of Pereira at heavyweight, right?
But if Pereira loses, that actually clears the road for something bigger, a move to heavyweight. Chael frames this as the true reset button for Alex's career. New life, dream fights, and fresh rivalries waiting at the top.
If I ask you about that fight, I'm not asking you, do you want to see them fight again? The question I'm really asking you is, do you want to see them fight 2 more times? And when you juxtapose that against potential parity for Alex Pereira in the heavyweight class, which includes and does not exclude Jon Jones. John's got one thing right now, which is Tom Aspinall. He doesn't have another thing. There is not a Jones-Volkov poster being made. But is there a Jones-Pereira potential? Sure. I'm not predicting that for you or going that direction. I'm just sharing for you. Even in the idea of potential, we got to find a way to get Pierre to heavyweight. And the only clear way to get him there is to get him beat. But isn't that the very spot that we're in right now?
Chael closes with the real kicker. The only clear way to get Pereira to heavyweight is for him to take a loss. That loss doesn't hurt his stock, it just opens the door to the blockbuster fights everyone really wants. Not everyone agrees though. Caio Baralho's take is simple but sharp. He sees the rematch playing out much like the first, only this time, Pereira walks in with confidence. Knowing he can stuff the takedowns, Alex can crank up the pressure, take bigger risks, and hunt that knockout with even more freedom.
Former UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira, he'll be having his rematch against Magomed Ankalaev. What do you think that he needs to do to win that title back?
I think the fight will be mostly the same, but I think Alex could pressure a little bit more because now Alex knows that he can defend the takedowns. He can risk to find that knockout, and I think the fight will be better for him.
Even outside the MMA world, voices are backing Pereira to rise again. Andrew Tate, speaking on the rematch, praised Pereira's experience and resilience, noting that a fighter's losses losses can either break them or fuel a stronger return. In his eyes, Poatan is the kind who knows how to channel setbacks into comebacks, and Tate believes this time it will end with Pereira's hand raised.
Last thing, I saw you and your brother in Vegas over the weekend. Do you have any words for Pereira? He took a loss, like any maybe words of encouragement?
Pereira's an OG. Pereira fought Sahak Papayan, and I was supposed to fight Pereira a long time ago, but he ended up fighting Sahak instead back in the It's Showtime days. So him and I have been fighting way back when. So he's been around. He knows the game.
Yeah.
He understands you win some, you lose some. You either use it to come back stronger and better and learn something, or you use it to destroy you. It's like everything in life, right? So I think he already knows exactly what to do. The world loves him. He knows that.
You think he'll win the rematch?
I think he'll be back. Yeah, the world loves him. He's a loved guy. He'll be back.
We've seen the grind in Pereira's camp and heard the predictions from some of the sharpest minds in the game. Now the question is, what do you think happens when the cage door closes for the rematch? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more fight breakdowns and updates.